Hi, welcome back to the Mom's Wealth Club podcast. I am so excited for this week's guest. We are here at the Aspire Mastermind, and we had to take time out to come and make sure you guys hang around for this week's episode. This week we have my good friend, Leticia Zertuche.
Zertuche, you say it right, you say it right.
She is going to tell us all about her journey. What are you going to be talking about?
Well, just really my story, I think, is kind of a different, since I'm coming from Cancun, I went to Madrid, I studied there, I moved to Chicago, and now I'm here living the American dream. And I think it will be very inspiring for you guys. I hope it will be very inspiring for you guys to start your journey and don't wait any longer, because if I did it, you can do it too.
And what's so cool is she is a woman who owns a construction company. And one thing that I find amazing is prior to 1975, women did not even have agency to get loans to purchase our own properties. Leticia is over here now building them. And there's so many different pieces of the puzzle. You guys don't want to miss this episode.
I'll see you soon.
So I'm so excited today. One of my favorite people, Leticia, is here. And Leticia is so amazing to me because she owns her own construction company. And being women in real estate, like, that's huge. Having that kind of knowledge on construction, having that knowledge on the costs, all of the things that come with construction, but also knowing that stuff can help you make so much more money in any kind of real estate deals that you're coming in, whether you're looking just to buy a turnkey rental property, being able to have an eye, or contractors that know what's right, because there's a big difference that I have found coming from the retail world and from investment world. I've had people that make mistakes and buy an investment property and bring in a retail inspector who's looking on this side of the walls and like looking at it like, what would it look for one family to live there? But to actually bring for that inspection period a contractor and people that really see behind how the construction is done at a deeper level. So Leticia's in a great place for that. And I love that she's a woman in construction. So why don't we just kind of start? How did you even get into this space that you're in right now?
Well, everything started when I was in Spain, because the economy there was not really the best for a young entrepreneur to succeed, given the circumstances of the economy being very poor country when it comes to the system of capitalism, right? So I noticed that early on my first year of college, and I thought to myself, well, I'm studying business to have my own business, but this country doesn't have the proper economy structure for immigrant to succeed at the speed of other places. So therefore, I called my friend in Chicago, and she said, don't you worry, come for the summer, work with my brother's company, make $10,000, and then go back to study. Don't worry, everything is going to be okay. And I was like, what? $10,000 in the summertime? That sounds like amazing. So they flew me over, knowing that I was a good salesperson. They hired me, they did all the process for my paper, my visa, and I started working with this company. So it was construction since the start. I was just a salesperson, and I was going door to door, knocking on people's door, looking at the roofs. You have a missing shingle, your gutters are falling off, we think we can help you out. And so we started with the process of claims, where, here in Illinois, we have big storms. We just had a couple ones this week, pretty strong ones, by the way. So we started like that. And then I noticed that me coming from a Christian family, being a believer of God, the moral of the company was not aligned with what I believe. And I noticed that it was hard for me to put my face behind a company that was not keeping their word with their clients, and putting me in a very hard place where I promised so much on service and results, and they were not delivering when I was promising. So I then got contacted by another company that was also new and owned by a woman, and they wanted me to start working together as partners. After a couple years, I realized that this sweet lady, I'm not saying she wasn't nice, put a lot of work on my shoulders. I was able to take it. I mean, I roll up my sleeves and I get it done. But I realized that I was not using my time properly because I'm really good at sales and managing, and I was doing too much of administration, and instead of what I'm really doing best, which is, getting the clients and getting those contracts in the door. So I talked to her. She thought that I wanted more money. I really just wanted more input from her into the things that we said we were going to divide between the two of us. In short terms, we didn't get into an agreement for what was going to be next. So then in COVID 2020, I realized that I needed to start my own thing. So that's when Roca Construction started. And from now, we've just been working, and now the team has grown, and we've been able to do a lot since then. That's how it started.
That's wonderful. Okay, so you were in Spain, but I know
Yeah.
you're not from Spain.
No, I'm not. I'm Mexican.
Okay, so tell us how you got from Mexico to Spain to the States.
Okay, so I used to work in hotel industry in Cancun. Then I got promoted to the Riviera Maya, and I was team captain for concierge desk. Those pretty ladies that always give you a lot of help when you're in a hotel resort, and they tell you where to go and like what restaurants to go to. So I had a desk where we were doing that, and I first started as just a concierge. Then I became team captain, and then this is a very business that is managed by men. So when I get to the point where I was supposed to be the general manager of the desk, they decided that a man was going to, step in, and I needed to teach him how to do his job, which was like a deal breaker for me, because after being the top salesperson for 8 years in the company and having a good relationship with the owner, I was like, well, I think that's unfair, because how I'm going to teach somebody how to do their job when I'm ready to do it and capable to do it. But I was very young, and I think that's one of the reasons why they decided to put somebody that was older and had the look of a manager more than me. I was 26, and at the time I look even younger than 26. So I understand. From the business of hotel business, I decided that the town was getting too small for me. I was living in Playa del Carmen. It's a very party town. It's like almost like living in Miami, but it's smaller. And I already reached my top when it comes to the hotel industry, because I was making more than the hotel manager, because we were in the section of timeshare and also taking care of the customers. So at some points, I was making more than the actual manager of the hotel, which is crazy because I'm actually below when it comes to ranking. But the position that I had, because it had commission involved, and I was a high performance salesperson, then I was like, how am I going to make more money than the manager of hotels? So I thought, okay, my dream has always been to study abroad. And my parents, coming from a low income family, never actually gave me the chance to, have that, to study in another country. So I sold my car. I did like raffles and stuff, getting money from here and there, sold everything I had. And then I closed myself to study for 3 months for this exam. It was very difficult because at the time I was 28, so I had 10 years without studying, but I was always a nerd. So I decided to focus and get it done. Spain has a lot of different ways to teach people Spanish, which I don't know if I could explain this correctly, but they have a very specific way of breaking down the language in the academic world of college. So I had to hire a teacher to teach me Spanish again the right way, or at least the way for Spain, right? So I was able to pass my exam. I moved there. My family actually, maybe heartbroken, but at the same time, encouraging me to do it, helped me out. I was able to do that for, I think it was 9 months that I was there, until summer came, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to study for 4 years business. For what? to come back to be an employee or to have my own business. And then realizing that the economy there in Spain was not the proper for me to start a business, I start looking for different options. So I reach out to my friends. Back in the day, she was working with me at the desk in the hotel business, and she was my roommate, and I was her landlord. And now places where, flipped, where she was going to be my landlord, she was going to be hiring me through her brother, and it was just, a match made in heaven, because now she was able to help me like I help her. So it was very nice. And I was afraid, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was afraid for all the movies that you watch in Hollywood. You gotta be careful with your taxes. You gotta be careful with the lawsuits. People can sue you for anything almost. So I was kind of afraid to do things right since the beginning and not really get caught in situations where the name of my company or my name could be damaged in a very devastating way, because now social media was getting very strong. People were looking at that like almost every day. So I decided not to go big in social media when I first started, and I wanted to do one client at a time. At the end of my relationship with this lady that I got hired for a second company on my career here in the United States, I noticed that she was mismanaging the money, because I was doing the deposits on the with the cashier, and then she would be, do you want to see the balance? And I was like, oh yeah. And then one day before I deposited $20,000, the next day there was only $5,000 in the account, which means $15,000 were somewhere, if you can imagine where it went. And I was like, wow, how are we going to build 3 homes with $5,000? I don't think that's even possible unless she has a lot of good credit everywhere else. So the little as I ask, hey, when are we going to build these homes? When are we going to build these homes? These clients are asking me, when are we going to build this home? Oh, after the winter. So I start asking since September, when are we going to build those homes? By February, now the weather start changing, we'll be able to build the homes. And I ask, hey, when are we going to build these homes? And she said, we are going to just take our percentage and we're going to let them build their homes on their own. And I was really stressed out, because I've been telling these clients for almost 4 months that we're going to build after the winter. And now I'm in the same position when I started again, when the company morals are not aligned for what I am actually providing or promising to the client. And then again, it was a big breakthrough that I realized I got to do my own thing. I need to be able to make decisions where if I promise something, I can deliver what I promise. And the only way to do that is either being a partner, a real partner on the company, or owning the company. And that's how we started with Roca Construction.
I love that. So Roca Construction, tell us how you got the name.
Okay, that's one of my favorite parts. Thank you for asking that. So Roca means rock in Spanish, and it came the idea because I wanted a name that will align with my beliefs and what I stand for. And Matthew 7:24 says, if you build your house over the rock being God, the storms and the winds will come and your house will not move. If you build your house over sand, when winds and the storms come, it will be flushed away. So building your house over the rock, it's the only way to maintain a structure of your life, or any structure, solid and a good foundation. So it just works perfectly. You build with Roca, you be a wise man or a woman. And if you build as a human being your life over the rock, which is God, it could come tornadoes, grenades, wars, anything, and you will have your strong faith and you will not be moved from your good foundation. So I just love that.
I love that too. It's great that you named your company. The reason that you left these other companies was because your values didn't align. And when you sat down and said, I'm going to build this company that aligns with my values, and then to bring God right into it, and then basically name your company after a verse in Matthew, that's, it totally speaks to who you are. And I know sometimes out there, there's businesses that try to put up a Christian fish and then they're out there doing the same thing like the world.
Mhm.
And, we're trying to take advantage of people or whatever. But when you get to know you as an individual, you know that your company is built on the rock. It's built on God, and everything about you is God determines every path in your life. I love it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, granted, right? At this point, after 5 years, we are working with 69 different subcontractors, small company business owners that, just like me, started with just being them. And now they maybe have a crew of 2 or 3 people, window guys, gutter guys, roofing crews that have license, workers' compensation, that they're small, but they're built, right? And now they're human beings, right? There's always going to be a margin of error, right? The car may broke down, they don't get to the appointment on time, but having a company as a bigger company that has an umbrella of responsibilities and being aware of the liability of performing good and giving good results and good services, we quickly could remove this crew from the job and put another one that we trust, or communicate with the client promptly and say, hey, they're not going to make it today because mechanic issues, but we're going to be there tomorrow, or we reschedule. And somebody that can along the way give a good experience to the client, even though things go not super smooth, but try to make it as smooth as possible. It's same thing when, if the person performing the job miss a spot on the paint, or didn't finish the caulking on the proper way, knowing that somebody is gonna answer the phone, not freaking disappear on you, and come back and fix the issue, just to make sure that you call us back again for whatever other job that you may have. And this is how, for almost 3 or 4 years, we didn't really have any social media, any, footage online. It was all mouth to mouth and referrals to referrals, and, people, passing the voice of what Roca Construction was. And I really like that. Now we're putting a lot more effort on putting ourselves out there and showing to the world what we are online. But believe it or not, we have come across some, clients that they're not even our clients, but they know our name, and for some reason they have put, comments online that are not that good. So now we need to call our 1,600 people that we have worked with in the past and say, hey, listen, before we never ask you to put a comment online, but now is the time to support us and help us out. So we're working on that as well. And it's just, if that would have happened to us back in the day and the beginning, the world would probably just fall on top of us and be like, oh my God, this is so terrible. But now, knowing that who we are, how many families we've been able to help, if you find a bad comment, you know that it's just one on a million people that we, not million, but 1,000 people that we have helped.
Right. And that's great because I'm sure there were growing pains as you went along too, because now you've got it as a well-oiled machine. And people do that a lot. They say, oh, I'm going to start a business, and they jump right into social. And I can see how that could shoot you in the foot. You don't have your systems in place. So when you do it, you are inundated with business, you can't handle it. So things fall through the cracks, and then social people get out there and make comments because things have fallen through the cracks, or like you said, there's people out there that are putting things, probably your competitors,
Mm-hmm.
putting things out there that aren't even true, that
Mm-hmm.
your business might not have been able to withstand all of that. And you're right, it would be really tough. So Coming in, what is the benefit of working with you as a GC versus me just saying, you know what, I can just general contract this myself. I have enough people. I've got friends that do drywall. I've got friends that do this. I'm working full time, but I can do this too. Why would someone hire a general contractor like your business?
Well, I started this journey on construction in 2016. So if we make the numbers, it's been almost 9 years that I've been involved with workers, construction, clients, situations that come across when you're doing construction that is kind of hard for a homeowner just having one property or just having one project to be able to know, just out of like maybe looking at things online, YouTube videos and stuff like that. So that gave us an advantage of 9 years of experience. But putting that aside, the people that we work with, the gutter people, the flooring crew, the painters, they have from 15 to 25 years of experience. That knocks everything down. I mean, with AI now, you can do a really research but if you're gonna have a project and the city is involved, knowing the inspector by name, knowing how their personalities, knowing the things that they're going to be looking at that you may not see, and having that advantage of handshaking and networking. I realize in here in the United States is who do you know, and more than what can I pay or what can I save, right? So when you do your own GC as a homeowner, of course you can save money, but there's things like I call it Pandora box when you start opening walls of old houses, or even old houses, meaning like 30, 40 years old home. You don't know what's behind it. And not even talking about historic district homes where they're 100 years old, right? And the city, just to give you an example, if you open a wall to do a patch and they happen to notice that you have flexible wiring on your electrical system, they may just ask you to replace the entire electrical system in your house. We're talking about $7,000 to $15,000 if it's a small property, to $15,000 to $20,000 on a building of 2 or 3 units. And it's a very hard payment if you're not prepared. And if you don't know, you may just open the entire window for them to look at, and then now you put you shoot yourself on the foot for not knowing that. So you may pay a little bit extra for an experienced contractor for that, and also because we know our contractors for 5 to 9 years. We have kept the good ones and fire the not too good ones. So now we have done the pre-work for you of knowing that whatever we have put into your home to do the job, it's an experienced contractor that is tested. Also, we have contracts with them where if they don't perform, then we go against them. So you don't have to, right? And prevent the lien on your home because you are not happy with this client, with this contractor, and you don't want to pay for a job that is not to your standards. And now they can go back to the county and say, hey, they didn't pay me, and I'm going to put a lien on their home. You may pay with Roca, just, a little bit more, but you're going to skip all those headaches that definitely could put a hardship on your family and on your property.
Wow, that's amazing. And code changes all the time. So you could just innocently not know the most up-to-date code as just a regular person out there. And then that is opening up Pandora's box, because then they can come in, oh, the house is only 20, 30 years old, but we have a new code now. And I
Yes.
just saw this and you have to fix it. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden your project cost just went up 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. Well, I know that we want to do projects together. I know you're super busy all the time, and even getting this time to get you on this podcast was, tough because you are busy, and I know you love what you're doing. And I love
Yes.
that you are a woman. I just heard a podcast the other day that reminded me that women in the United States did not even have financial agency prior to 1975. That means that we had to have a co-signer if we wanted to buy a house. And now you're out there building them. And I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. I know that you do all kinds of construction. So just tell us if somebody needed some kind of work, like what do you do? How do people get a hold of you and how you want to handle anybody that wants to reach out to you and ask more questions?
Yes. So I'm going to give out my work phone, which is always, I always answer it. And if I cannot answer it, I will pass the phone number to one of my assistants back at the office and they will reach out to you. 630-903-9661 is a cell phone that you can call, text, use WhatsApp, communicate the way that you would like. And then the email is Leticia, which is Leticia, Leticia at rocaconstruction.net, not .com, .net. And then the website, if you guys would like to go to our website, is Roca, ROCA, construction.net. So those are the phone numbers and emails that you can contact me with. And then about the question of what we do and what can we reach as a job, we focus on residential a lot. So anything residential, a driveway, an addition, a foundation, a deck, a roof, changing your floor, designing your kitchen, anything residential we can address. Commercial buildings, we are mainly focused on roofing and paint and small repairs. We can most definitely help you with any of your public adjusting needs. A public adjuster is a person who is legally licensed by the state of Illinois to represent you against your insurance company in the case that you have damage by the storms or a tree that fell down in your property or vandalism or any type of damage that you might have in your property. We represent you to get the best settlement possible with your insurance company. So we get the money and then we do the job for you.
I love it. Trying to represent yourself against it. That's how people do not get what they thought they paid for, right?
Mhm.
You're paying your insurance every single month, and without having somebody that really knows how to navigate that.
Things easy, like for example, we were in with a client in Chicago. Super quick, I tell you this story. They called the insurance themselves because water was coming through their property straight up like a waterfall. Call the insurance right away to put up the claim, but they realized this is too big. We don't know how much do we need to claim. We are not able to even sleep on our own bedroom because water just came through the roof. So they call a company, I'm not going to tell you names, but they took the case and they didn't show up on the adjuster meeting. And now they're claiming their fees. They didn't put the claim. They didn't show up for the adjuster meeting, and now they're claiming their fees. That is not legal. A client can avoid the contract if that may happen. The Department of Insurance of Illinois supports the client to put a claim and avoid this contract. Until the company releases them from this contract, I'm not going to be able to help them. But therefore, they call us up. They say they needed a tarp. They've been waiting for a tarp for months. And just the past 2 days, there was big storms. So we charge them, we give them a receipt. We work on a Sunday to put the tarp on. We save them from more damage. This receipt will be paid by the insurance once we finalize the process with them. It could be a supplementation, and that has to be paid by the insurance because they're protecting their property, and that actually is good for the insurance. So they got a receipt. We did the emergency tarp. And now we're looking to help them legally to void this contract with this other company that didn't really do anything for them. So just an example of the things that we could do, even though that we cannot immediately represent you, we can do other services that may help you prevent more damages in your property.
Wow. And you said it was for months. They were waiting to just get it fixed. So if they would have reached out to you first, they'd already be fixed.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a good Zoom. I'm so glad that we get to introduce you to the audience, and I will definitely put your contact information in the show notes. I know you're looking to do bigger and bigger projects and your company's growing, and I'm excited to be friends with you and walk on this journey. So thanks for today.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. I appreciate you think of me. I'm so flattered, and thank you for the time and to set it up this meeting. I think it's maybe the first of many. I'm gonna start writing notes of my entire like little adventures that I have with clients and experiences, and we may share some other stories with the audience in the future.
That'd be great. Maybe we can come out and get permission from the homeowners, but actually do a process video with you. That would be fun. This is what happened. This is how we fixed it. And this is the finished product. That would be a lot of fun too.
That would be great. I hope we can do that.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that was fun. I think that one of the main things that I loved about this is how hard you worked and you made the decision.
Thank you.
To really make it happen. You also lived your truth.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's hard every day. The hustle is every day, so you can just not stop. You have to continue. On the way you learn, you become stronger, and that's what life is. It's about the journey, so enjoy.
Absolutely. And I want you to remember, until next time, a wise woman will prosper. So buy the field, plant the vineyard, and watch it multiply.